for weight loss, it's not just about diet and exercise. So traditional classic weight loss programs would lead you to believe all you need to do is follow a diet, or you need to do a boot camp exercise program, or that just diet, just exercise, or diet and exercise are all you need to achieve significant and permanent weight loss. But these are the same programs that leave people in the yo-yo diet cycle, roller coaster, hamster wheel, going round and round, and you may lose a little weight and you regain it. And you may lose a little weight, but you're frustrated, you can't get to your weight loss goal, and you end up regaining it anyway. And part of the reason is that it's not just diet and exercise. And if you've been in my group for a while, you know I've spoken about a number of different factors. Today I'm going to talk in detail about stress affects weight gain and weight loss, and it's an important factor in whether you achieve your weight loss goals. So I want to say hello to everybody joining today. I welcome all of you, and I congratulate all of you for joining, because I know you are serious and dedicated and committed. And because of your commitment, I know that you have a greater chance, the odds are really, really in your favor that you're going to get there. You want to learn this, and I want to share this with you. So I congratulate you for being here. I always say hello to someone I see early on, so I am going to say hello to Sherry today. I am so glad you are here with us, and I welcome everybody. So glad everybody is here. And this is such an important topic. Again, it's not just about diet and exercise, and those traditional weight loss programs out there would lead you to believe that those fad diets, those all high fat, low fat, all narrow category diets, the boot camp, exercise for hours a day, they would lead you to believe that you can achieve permanent and significant weight loss. But again, these are the programs that lead people back and leave people in the yo-yo diet cycle. What's missing from these programs? What's wrong with them? And a significant problem, a significant reason people don't achieve the weight loss that they desire is you need to have more than just diet and exercise. Diet is what you put in your body. Exercise is how you jump your body or move your body. What matters really to an important level is what's going on in your body. Is your body burning calories or storing calories? Are you in fat burning mode or fat storing mode? And is your metabolism fast? Are you actively burning calories? Or is your metabolism slow? And how can you change those factors? And today I want to talk in detail about how stress affects these. So stress releases stress hormones, and hormones are messengers in the body. They send messages to various organs and processes in the body and affect the way the organs and processes in our body work. Now, there are over 20 hormones associated with weight loss, weight gain, stress, all of these interactions. I am going to talk in detail about a few of them, the most important today. So first, and the one that you've probably heard about most, is stress causes the release of stress hormones, including adrenaline and cortisol. What does cortisol do related to weight gain and weight loss? So cortisol slows down fat burning. So we all have a default system for our calories that we take in our body. Either we are in fat storing mode or fat burning mode. And if your cortisol raises, if you experience stress and your cortisol is high or increases, that keeps you in fat storing mode. So you can go on these starvation diets and cut calories obsessively, or count points obsessively, or you could do boot camp obsessively. And if you are in fat storing mode, you are not going to be burning calories actively, and you're going to have trouble reaching your weight loss goals. So again, any weight loss program that you take on, you should know should have a stress part, a part which includes how to handle stress and how stress influences your ability to lose weight. They should be telling you, as I tell my clients, in detail what stress does and what you can do to work in a world where we all experience stress. And again, I'm going to be speaking about that in detail. But the first thing I want to mention is that stress, that hormone that we all know as the stress hormone, cortisol, slows the metabolism, which keeps weight on and keeps us in fat storing mode instead of fat burning mode, which is where we want to go. Again, you can do these starvation diets, you can do these boot camp exercises, and if you are in fat storing mode, you're not going to be losing weight vigorously, efficiently, or significantly. That is not the way your body is functioning or processing. Second, when we talk about stress, we've all heard the phrases stress eating, emotional eating, sugar cravings, binge eating. All of these occur more frequently when we are under stress. And so again, any weight loss program needs to teach you to handle these issues. These are all obstacles to weight loss. And just telling you you should go and starve and count your calories is really misleading, because these cues from the body, these sugar cravings, emotional eating, stress eating cues, are really urgent signals from the body that you need sugar, that you need calories, that you are hungry, that you are in need. And it is really misleading to tell people to ignore these strong signals. However, it is important to teach people what to do when you have these signals, so that you can address the signals without binging, without eating sugars and carbs and foods that are going to increase your weight rather than decrease it. So again, we talked about how stress increases cortisol, which works against weight loss. Stress increases pattern eating, like stress eating, emotional eating, binge eating, and pattern eating. And it's important to understand that. Let's talk about some of the hormones as well, some of the other hormones as well. And when cortisol is high, that also raises insulin and blood sugar. And when your blood sugar raises, it then loops down, and when it goes down, that's when you likely have your sugar cravings. Again, a reason why understanding stress and planning in advance how to handle stress and its effect on the body and the mind is really important if you're going to achieve weight loss. Let's talk about another hormone in the body, ghrelin, and that's the hunger hormone. That's the hormone that tells the brain that you're hungry. It happens often in the morning after you've not been eating for a while, or if you are fasting, if you don't eat for a while, your brain lets you know that you are hungry. Very often when we are serial dieters and we get used to, instead of listening for our hunger hormones, We get used to thinking, oh, it's time to eat now, and this is what I'm supposed to eat. We learn to ignore, to not listen to our ghrelin, and also to our fullness hormone and satiety hormones. We teach ourselves sequentially when we continue to diet and learn to follow cues of calorie counting, of point counting. We learn to ignore signals from our brain about when we're hungry and when we're full. Let's talk about leptin. Leptin is the fullness hormone. When leptin is high, it signals our brain that we are full. However, there are conditions in the body, such as inflammation, which leads to what's called leptin resistance. What happens with leptin resistance? Even when leptin goes high, our signaling falls apart and it stops signaling fullness. Even when leptin is there and we should get a message of fullness, it stops our brain from signaling satiety. So that's important as well to understand. If you're not responding to your body's natural cues, why not? And how to restore those natural cues so that you can use them instead of taking on these dangerous drugs that have side effects and that only work temporarily as long as you're going to use the drug. And when you go off of the drug, these GLP-1 mimickers, then when you go off the drugs, most people will regain weight again. Why not instead go back and learn to understand and follow your body's natural cues, the natural hormones? And let's talk about the body's natural GLP-1, the glucagon-like peptide 1, which signals satiety and fullness, similar to what leptin does, but it's an additional hormone. And those drugs that you hear out there that signal fullness mimic GLP-1, mimic fullness. Again, when we've been on sequential diets, we've learned to listen to external cues, and instead of listening to hunger and fullness hormones, we start counting calories, we start counting points, we ignore these, and so we've lost track of them, but that doesn't mean we can't return to using them. Isn't that a much better idea than to take drugs that have side effects and that will only be effective if you keep using them? Do you want to be on drugs for life? My answer would be no. Would you like to return to natural cues in your life? My answer to that is yes. I think that's a much better feature, and that natural weight loss programs should include that, so that you have a natural sense of your hunger cues when you're hungry, a natural sense of fullness and satiety, so that you no longer need to think about these, what I consider to be dangerous drugs that have side effects, and that eventually most people want to go off of them. So let's think about it, and let's review some of the things we talked about. The first is it's not just diet and exercise. And if you're in my group, you know I've talked about 12 factors that control metabolism. And stress is an important one because the hormones that are released with stress affect the activity of our metabolism, whether we have a fast or a slow metabolism, and whether we stay in fat storing mode or whether we change to fat burning mode which is what all these skinny people have, and they can eat a lot and they lose weight because they're burning calories actively and vibrantly and vigorously and in a healthy way. That is a much better strategy to me, to lose weight in a healthy way, to return to your healthy cues in your body so that you learn to process calories that come in the way the body was meant to. Not in a fad, crazy, extreme diet way, not in a crazy, extreme boot camp way that is not sustainable, and not with crazy drugs that have side effects and that eventually people want to go off. We want people to return to natural cues in their body and realize that really leading people to believe that just diet and exercise, diet is the food that you put in the body, and exercise is how you move the body, how you jump up and down, controls everything. What really controls weight loss the most, for significant weight loss and permanent weight loss, is what's going on inside the body. Are you in fat burning mode, where you're burning calories, or are you in fat storing mode? Is your metabolism slow, which most people feel occurs when they feel stuck in holding weight? Or have you learned to shift your metabolism so that it's fast, rapid, and you can burn calories fast, efficiently, in a healthy way? That is how to lose weight in a healthy way, because a healthy way leads to permanent weight loss. And the other advantage of losing weight in a healthy way is that whatever obstacles you have that keep you in holding weight, that keep you in a slow metabolism, that keep you in fat storing mode, often keep people within other health problems, like holding on to and having high cholesterol and risks for heart and cardiovascular disease and diabetes and thyroid disease. And when you learn healthy ways to shift the body into fast metabolism, into fat burning mode, and into understanding the other factors, not just diet and exercise, but stress and other factors, then you lose weight in a healthy way. And that, my friends, is the way to exit the yo-yo diet cycle, because once you shift the body into healthy, fat-burning, fast metabolism mode, that is your permanent pathway to get to your weight loss goal that you want and to keep it there. I hope this makes sense to you, and that you will follow through and stop staying in these programs that just talk about diet and exercise, because there's so many more factors, especially stress. We've spoken a lot about how the stress hormones dictate whether you are in fat burning or fat storing mode, whether you really understand and continue to follow the signals for fullness and satiety, and whether you're really burning fat actively. So again, I encourage you to make sure any program, any weight loss program you think about and entertain, has to include more than diet and exercise. It's got to include stress, and I've spoken about 12 factors that control metabolism. If you're interested in the full set, you can go into our group to find some of the talks that I've done on it. You are welcome. I will have my calendar in the chat section of the replay for this. I will do that in a while. So if you'd like to talk about those factors, I'd be happy to discuss them with you. And again, Significant and permanent weight loss is not a one-size-fits-all program like these diet and exercise programs would lead you to believe that everybody should do the same exercise and everybody should eat the same thing and you'll get permanent and significant weight loss. That is just not the case. It is really misleading. Different people have different obstacles. Some people have sugar cravings, some people don't. Some people have higher levels of stress, some people don't. Some people have thyroid issues, some people don't. There are so many differences in our bodies, in our obstacles, and for our solutions. So again, it's not a one-size-fits-all program either. People who really lose weight, significant weight, and permanent weight are able to do it because they've obliterated and eliminated the obstacles in their body. If you'd like to talk about what your obstacles are and how to put together a program that really will eliminate and obliterate your obstacles and get you to the core of what's keeping you in holding weight, I would be delighted to have that discussion. Again, I have a limited number of sessions, so if you are interested, I suggest you go in and schedule an appointment as soon as you can, and I would be happy to talk about all of these issues with you and how to get permanent, significant weight loss in a healthy way that is sustainable and permanent. So let's talk soon. And in addition to talking, join me each week at 7:30 in our group for a different topic. I always try to keep topics going. I always try to wear some fun necklaces for you. Let me know what you think of this necklace in the comments section as well. I hope you like the colors and the way I picked it to go with my blouse. And I can't wait to help you get permanent, significant, healthy weight loss. Let's talk soon.